Hi there, this week I'm going to be painting some Necrons and I'm going to be coming up with a colour scheme as I go, and I wanted to share that with you. Now, as some of you may know, there is currently a magazine out called Imperium, in which you subscribe for £8.99 a week. It starts out a little bit cheaper but increases to £8.99. You get various models and paints and such which allow you to collect an Imperium army, mainly Space Marines, a little bit of Sisters of Battles and a tiny bit of Admech, and also some Necrons. You also get some terrain thrown in. And I am subscribed to this little magazine, and as a result, I have come across some Necron models for the first time. And I think that's pretty lucky because, as luck would have it, I have been wanting to paint Necrons for quite a long time. I really like their aesthetic and their lore as well. I like that they're basically just the Egyptians and pharaohs of space. And if you don't quite know what I mean by that, I'm going to read a tiny description for the Warhammer 40,000 rulebook on the Necrons, just to get a rough idea of what they're like. After 16 million years in hibernation, the android legions of the Necrons rise across the galaxy. Armies of burnished steel, once dormant and hidden, march again, inexorable in their advance to restore their ancient empire. Armed with the arcane technology, nigh impervious to damage, and led by maniacal overlords, few Xenos races are as terrifyingly dangerous. So unless you've been living under a rock for the last year, you may have seen that Warhammer 40,000 has had a reboot and that Necrons are being pitched as the main antagonist. So they've had quite a few new models in this last edition, which is exciting because, you know, who doesn't need an excuse to buy new toys? But yes, going on that description, they seem very Egyptian to me, people that have been lying in sleep. They were once powerful and mighty, and then they come up to whoop ass. So, as I have a theme in mind, we're now going to jump over to the computer pute, and we're going to go online and have a little look at Egyptian colour schemes and stuff. Some Egyptian artwork, be it the artwork that historians have created, or, you know, stuff that's been actually found in temples and stuff. So Egyptian art work. Sorry if my voice sounds a bit odd in this video. I've got a rather bad cold at the minute. Right, okay, so obviously the main colour that is present in all these images is a yellowy sand colour, and that's because, well, it's Egypt, isn't it? So it's going to be sandy, because if you don't know, Egypt is covered in sand. Other than that, we are looking at quite a few blue sort of bits popping up, and it seems to be on people in power, like the headdresses seem to have hints of blue on them. There's also quite a bit of, as we go down, like, look at this one, quite a lot of gold dotted about. Let's just flick through something like this, and more hints of gold here and there. Red seems to be a bit of a theme as well. That might just be to reflect how hot the area was, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, look, it seems to be red, the sand colour obviously, a bit of gold and blue. So I'm going to base my colour scheme off those colours, I think. And I think, rather than making the base sandy, because that's what I do on basically all my armies, I'm going to lean into the red on the base, use it there, and we're going to make the base look Martian, almost. Yes, that's what I think we'll do. Right, let's we've had enough looking at pretty pictures. Let's have a look at the actual model and start painting. Okay. So, as sand is such a prominent part of Egyptian artwork due to just where it was in the world, we're going to be making that quite a prominent part of our Necrons as well. So we're going to keep most of its armour that sandy colour. And to do this, I'm going to use the colour Zandri Dust. I'm going to base coat everything in that. And here's a little flash forward to the future. After I'd done this model, I wanted to paint up some Necron warriors. So to do that, I primed them black and then used the Zandri Dust primer as a zenithal prime, much like I do on the terrain pieces. It gives me a head start because I know that Zandri Dust is going to be one of the main base colours I want. When it comes to highlighting these sandy areas, I'm going to be using bone colours. So my first highlight will be Ushabti Bone, and then I'll probably use Screaming Skull afterwards as well. I thought that blue that we had picked up on earlier in a research would be an excellent accent colour, especially as it was mainly used on headdresses and stuff. We can use it on the weird shoulder pads that all the Necrons have, because they seem to be a separate part, like a later instalment, just perched upon their shoulders. So I base coat these blue shoulder pad areas in Atadorf Guard Blue. And fun fact, I have around 6 shades of blue and have no blue armies. So this is a good chance to actually get to use my range of blue paints. Now to break it up a little bit, I think it's important to include that mechanical aspect that we read about earlier. We want to make sure that there is still a bit of metallics in there, because if there's way too much sand-like colour, it's going to look a bit flat, I think. So as a result, I'm going to use a silver colour on all of the arms and legs. So really, the only part that's going to end up being that sand colour is the chest area and the head. But I think this actually turns out really well. Because the metallic colours are darker, so the arms and the legs, it helps direct your eye towards the chest and head, which is where we normally want to direct the eye anyway, because that's the most important part of the model, for most people anyway. I also decided to use the blue from before on the little glyphs on its chest area and the stripe that it has going across its head. This just helps to further break it up, and considering that the Necron warriors don't have these kind of details, it really helps to kind of make this unit look elite. And to further that elitism, the weird cape sort of thing that it's got coming around the back that looks like it's made up of tiny little coffins, I'm going to paint gold. That's right, this is an important boy. We're going to paint him gold. But just as before, I don't want it to look too plain, so I'm going to be putting the blue dots in to make the coffins look more interesting. To highlight the blue areas, I'm going to use my normal blue highlight, which is Fenrisian Grey. This is a great highlight for blues. If you don't want it to be too vibrant, you want it to start heading towards a white colour. I'd also like to mention that I use Seraphim Sepia on this whole model. As it's going to be in a dusty sort of Martian planet, I want the shadows and such to reflect that. I want them to have that same sort of yellowy, reddish dirt feeling. Now the last important component of these models is the glowing orbs on their weapons and sometimes their eyes as well. And for this I'm going to keep them white. I think it actually works really well with the sand colour. I didn't want to add an additional colour like green or something. I wanted it to be something a bit more neutral that could still pack quite a punch in terms of contrast. Since painting this individual model, I've come up with the idea of creating a class system within the Necron army. So, these higher class models, such as this here, Warden, is going to have silver arms and legs, a bit more of a valuable metal. However, the Necron warriors are going to have copper arms and legs, and this is because there's some cheaper material. It is easier to get these warriors out on the battlefield quickly. And with just this one model painted, I am really excited to go ahead and paint a whole army of Necrons. Should I? No, I definitely shouldn't. I don't need a fourth 40k army in my life, but maybe I do. So, between the time that this painting was originally filmed and this talking bit of the video was filmed, I've actually painted quite a few extra Necrons. So, let's have a look at them all together. really hope you enjoyed this video, because I know that I enjoyed painting this Necron and coming up with this Egyptian colour scheme. If you did like it, then please make sure to give a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel or sharing this video with any friends. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, please leave a comment down below. It's hugely appreciated, as coming up with ideas is really important to making videos, obviously. There are also links in the description to my social media accounts and my Patreon account, where you can pledge £2 a month to help support the channel and get little bonuses as well. Thank you again for watching, and until next time, I shall see you later.